I'd like to just figure out a little bit how this whole master plan came about and how it works. The way I understand it is, when you have a master plan, you go through the master plan, previous master plan, and you say, okay, X, Y, and Z are problems. Let's try to fix X, Y, and Z. From what I see here, they didn't address X, Y, and Z. They just said, density. Let's go with density. I just want to know what happened with all other problems. The number one problem in this town is not the lack of density. The number one problem would be, seniors don't rollerblade. You can't get through town. So how do you come up with density opposed to fixing the problems? Or maybe some of you guys do.
I think Marty, you want to talk, or Marty, you want to talk about some of the things that are in the master plan to improve overall circulation, some of the areas that we talked about for open space and recreation. I mean, we've gone through this stuff already, but if the board wants to hear it again, that's fine. But there are areas where we specifically talked about more open space and recreation in town, rollerblading, bike riding, exercising. We talked about those things, so those things are included in the master plan. So if you want to talk to those things for a few minutes, I think it might be helpful for the board to understand that those things are in the master plan, and perhaps you want to talk about a couple of those things.
No, one more question before. When you were hired to do this job, were you asked to find where density fits, or if you could handle density? And the question is to you. You have a plan here. Do you think you can handle density? Or you were told to find a place to put these houses?
A lot to answer there. Going back to your first question, had to do with the preparation of the master plan, and as Justin pointed out, it's a comprehensive document to address all different aspects of the municipality in terms of land use, circulation, parks and recreation, utility services. Those are some of the different elements that are addressed. So we address that in a comprehensive manner. And so in the land use, you're not starting from a blank slate, obviously. You have to start with the existing land use and the way the town is built, the street grid, the circulation network that's in existence, and the existing land use and developments in the town. So that's what we had the basis on, and also the existing zoning, in terms of the zoning ordinance that's in effect and the historical pattern of development. So those are the things that we began with. We also, and a very important component really was, and the genesis of a lot of this was the smart growth plan, in terms of providing in 2013, the township, actually in 2009 there was a smart growth plan adopted, and it was amended in 2013. So that set up really a framework for growth and development in the town, and set up a series of cores and nodes which are built into the land use plan that's part of the master plan. So those cores and nodes were the area that could, as the town grows, would absorb the growth of the town, and those were envisioned to be compact community, compact areas of development, so that people could live and work and shop all within the same area as possible.
Is that because they came driving with? Is that
because that's the way it should be, so that they could get out of their cars, and so they wouldn't have to get in their cars and add to the existing traffic that's already on the road network.
Okay, good, I had that. then you would go with density to fix that problem? If you say it can't get anywhere, why would you get any density then? Why would you introduce it? And they say, okay, let's try this is working. If it's working, it's like we're good to go. If it's not working, let's try to fix it again. But I don't see where density comes in and fixes the problem.
As the town grows, you have to have.
But why is the town growing? If somebody lives in one bedroom with 12 kids, it comes to a point where you stop having kids or you get a bigger house.
You're making very important points, and you have, from your questions, I'm presuming you've taken a certain view of what the direction should be, what the underlying philosophy and governing principles is. So what the board has to do is select which direction to go in. And you have data that says that the township is growing, that there's a need, we have vacant land. How does that get developed? How does that get managed? One concept might be to embrace that and to allow for, when people have children and places to live in Lakewood, and you can handle the growth. I mean, the projections are that the growth is happening, and the numbers are pretty dramatic.
You need roads before you have growth.
Well, that's what the board has as its choice. You can say we're shutting this down, or you can say we're going to do it
I want to know
manually. But that's
planners view. I want to know if this actually,
from his scientific
does
viewpoint.
this make sense even without having roads? I mean, if you have roads and you put in infrastructure, if it doesn't work, okay, but we at least made an attempt to make it work.
I think that's why we said that it will be subject to those roads.
That's, I understand, but I'm talking about like, before it's subject to, it's like, why did it come to this point? How is it possible that the last master plan, this wasn't worked out right then? And you wait now, and now you want to, and then you get more density. So how many more houses are we talking about anyways? Is there a number? Because I don't see, what we're talking about.
I don't have the specific number handy.
Specific, okay, approximate,
I don't have the number.
5,000, 20,000?
Board meeting and he doesn't have.
Mr. Coleman, your question is, if the changes are implemented, how many more households?
I want to know what we're talking about. I wasn't able to find out at all, like, what are we talking about here? Does it cap out? We have another 100,000 homes? What's the number?
You should know, for God's sake.
There's certain information,
Don't straight.
smart growth plan in terms of projections and housing units, and I don't have that information.
Did you have it? I mean, did you forget it at home?
That was part of the planning process. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the discussion, that's part of the discussion.
Can we recall anything that you discussed, how many houses, what we're talking about? Any apartments,
He doesn't have that.
Yeah, I don't have the
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mr. And rather than just put a number right off the top of your head, again, as Mr. Truscott had indicated, the 2013 Smart Growth Plan had some projections in for both population growth and then the commensurate number of housing units that would be needed. For this master plan, what we decided to do was to evaluate the balancing of growth. And there's going to be as many places in the township where we are actually going to be taking both municipally owned property as well as areas where there's a privately owned property that are identified outside of the sewer service area that have limited growth or reduced growth or will be preserved for open space purposes. So the idea here is we anticipate, we know that there's going to be a substantial amount of growth within the township, regardless if you just decided not to vote on this master plan right now, So we're going to stick with our 2009 master plan. There will be growth that occurs within Lakewood Township. There will be continued growth. There's growth now. I mean, in fact, the reaction.
What's the number?
I can provide that to you. I don't have the number right off the top of my head. However, what I'm suggesting to you is that the idea here is when you're looking at the smart growth plan and when you're looking at a comprehensive plan, the idea is to balance that growth with preservation. And it's more about the distribution of where that growth and activity and the type of growth that occurs in those cores and those nodes. So if you took a look at the plan, and you took a look at the 2013 Smart Growth Plan, you would see that the nature of the growth and development, the residential housing types, the residential units, are balanced out with providing for shopping, public services, and amenities in close proximity. That's essentially what the idea for probably the last decade as this has been evolving. That's been the idea in Lakewood Township. Identifying those areas where we really need to preserve open space, where there's sensitive environmental resources, we don't want to see growth and development occur, and then provide for opportunities for new growth and development that is a little bit more smart than has occurred. And that is really very, very comprehensively outlined in the 2013 Smart Growth Plan, which is referenced within this master plan. Now, I do agree with Mr. Flansbaum that it's important to support that anticipated growth and development, where the growth and development is projected to take place, those cores and those nodes that we've identified, and provide the infrastructure to support that. We talked about the recommendation for the Transportation Improvement District. There is a Transportation Improvement District in the southwestern portion of the township right now, where the cross street core is. We propose, and we've been encouraging the township to extend that, and the board has accepted that recommendation to extend that throughout the township. The Smart Growth Plan and the Circulation Plan here in this master plan provides an extensive discussion and dialogue about the need for new roads, new interconnections within developments. There was a lot of discussion with regards to creating that grid. That's the embodiment of the Smart Growth Plan, to create that grid structure, and to provide those improvements in the roads that carry a substantial amount of traffic. Provide those interconnections where they're not there now, particularly the north and south connections, to basically divert traffic, as much traffic as we can off of Route 9. I can guarantee you that if you do not adopt a master plan, you don't have a master plan, or you retain the old master plan. So, hey, you know what? The old master plan is working out great. Let's retain it. Well, that's not the case. What you have here is a re-examination of your prior master plan, and as you indicated, there are identification of problems and issues and concerns that have arisen since that last master plan took place. And those recommendations and those changes and those revisions are presented in the various elements within the master plan. The idea is create a balanced approach, make sure that you have the infrastructure to support that. And again, I do agree with Mr. Flansbaum, particularly in the southwestern part where a substantial amount of the newer growth is going to take place. Make sure that you have that infrastructure in place before you start implementing a substantial amount of new growth in that area.
So you agree that as of right now, the way it stands with the roads that we have, we can't handle any more density?
What I'm suggesting to you is that in those areas where we've identified those cores and those nodes where we know that we want to support new growth and development, we definitely do need the infrastructure to support it.
I'm sure you check that in the whole town.
No. And in fact, actually,
If you're checking out the whole town to find that, to identify, we could have more density. We have to look everywhere.
yeah, and specifically, those are the areas that were identified. They have
Correct. So
identified.
now you identify it. I'm sure you traveled the roads and you saw what's going on. So are you saying that if the roads aren't improved, you can't handle any more density?
No, I didn't say that you can't handle any more. What I'm saying is to support.
You don't live here.
To be able to support substantial new growth and development, to the level that you want to in the future, that you're
The
going to
level
need
that
to
who wants to.
the level that is expressed here in the master plan.
So that was my first question. Were you asked to provide density?
No.
Or were you asked to see if you can handle density?
No, what we were charged to do is re-examine the last master plan, look at the 2013 smart growth plan, work with the master plan committee and the subcommittees, take their recommendations, incorporate it into the draft, and present that as a comprehensive draft to the planning board for the review action. There was no agenda in terms of find the places for density. It's a question of what's the right plan and what's the right
You
comprehensive
think we
approach.
can handle density?
Ultimately, but it's like any planning process. The plan is implemented over time. Tomorrow, you adopt this plan, tomorrow the density is not going to immediately materialize. What you're putting in place is a strategy and to phase in and to create the community fabric, the public spaces, the community facilities, the infrastructure, the water, sewer, and transportation to support the vision that you have embodied in this plan. Now, you may disagree with the vision, and you have every right to disagree with the vision. You want my recommendation as a professional to this board, and my recommendation as a professional to this board is that the master plan provides a fairly well-balanced approach. Now, the real fundamental, and if anybody reads this master plan, they'll realize and they'll see that there is as much talk about preservation, community facilities, supporting infrastructure, circulation improvements. We've been talking about circulation improvements for the past decade that need to be implemented. Working with the county, working with the state. That evolution is incorporated and embedded within this planning
So
document.
there's no improvement in roadways. There's no way we can handle any density. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm
Don't
suggesting.
you think that should have been the key point to your master plan?
What I'm suggesting to you is that in those areas where we propose substantial new growth in the centers and cores, that's
Why would we have 100 companies? Why are we dealing with new people coming? Why don't we deal with who we have right now?
Well,
With what we have right now.
I would contend to you that you are facing issues and problems and concerns right now. So the idea is, let's get a plan in place, a circulation plan that addresses improvements, that talks about improvements. Because of the reason why you need to address it in the master plan is because that provides the foundation and support for the ordinances in the transportation improvement districts. You provide that nexus, you establish first the foundation with the planning framework and talk about the circulation improvements that are necessary. That's what we did in the smart growth plan. We established those needed improvements, and the TID, the Transportation Improvement District, is based on what was discussed in the 2013 and presented in the 2013 master plan. If under current zoning, in those areas where, and I contend to you that a substantial amount of the township is not being changed in terms of zoning. You take a look at that, you take a look at your land use plan on that, you look across the township, across township wide, there is not a substantial revision or change that's occurring in any of those districts. Those areas are going to still have growth because there's going to be applications that are going to be presented, and there still needs to be circulation improvements that need to be made as part of that new growth without any further revisions in the zone plan. That's why the master plan is important. Because adopt this master plan, it provides the foundation for a township-wide PID, because it identifies those improvements you need throughout the township and not in just the southwestern portion of the township. So I would contend to you, if you say no more growth without the infrastructure, the circulation plan improvements, that puts you in a bind, because you need to be working right now to continue to make those improvements. You need a master plan document that creates a circulation plan, that creates a foundation for you to be able to create the TID and charge for those.
The circulation plan, from what we heard was that the state has no money.
No,
And the attorney is optimistic, and John Franklin, in 1969, he's not so optimistic. say.
And I would also contend to you that like, if you take a look at the zone plan along Route 9, there's no changes in what the.
We can't remove from any, that's how we get it. Besides for Pine Street, which has a school right in the middle. There's no other artery. How do you get into it? You build a bridge?
I totally agree with you. Route 9 is a critical issue for this township and has.
So how do you suggest, recommend getting past that? Density is not an answer.
Yeah, but the issue in Route 9 is that, again, you're not making any changes in terms of your development forms on Route 9.
No, I'm not saying you can't do anything.
But still development occurs. So you need to have a plan in place that directs the growth in those appropriate locations and creates those parallel routes outside of Route 9 and provides the mixed-use development in those HD districts so that you have the shopping and services proximate to.
You have people who have schools. It doesn't work in this community. The way it works, I could live in one spot. My kid's school is the other end of town. I gotta go. I don't care if you have a shopping center in my neighborhood. I gotta travel to the other side of town. I have relatives living on the other side of town. Come to the shopping center. What does that mean?
Yes.
What is that doing to you?
The real answer is that no planning is not the answer. Planning is important to be able to address the problems you have at hand now. If you do not adopt this master plan, or adopt anything, you can vote against this master plan today.
I just want to make sure I heard Menashe Miller, when he was mayor, he said, my message to the master plan committee, no more density, no more density. The Ackerman sent out a letter stating no more density, we do on the master plan committee at the time, and they said no more density, and all of a sudden you guys came up with a master plan density. So my question,
If you look at, again, if you look on things on balance, you take a look at where the areas where growth was identified to be reduced, the areas that were taken out of the sewer service area, the areas that were identified for more limited growth and development, the proposed non-contiguous clustering that directs growth into the cores and away from other areas of the township where it's not appropriate for growth. The creation of those other transportation routes and the location of shopping and services proximate to new residential development. I can guarantee you, and I will state unequivocally, that if you implement a plan where you create places for people to shop, to go to in walking distance of their neighborhoods, that would probably create the greatest relief for you in the future. Doing nothing and not changing your land use plan now does not solve the problem. It will continue, the problem will continue to grow. No planning doesn't constitute no growth. No planning means that growth is not going to be appropriate and it's only going to exacerbate the problems.
So growth and density fixes the problem.
In selected areas, in specific areas, but it has to be well-designed growth. It can't be the kind of growth where you just have, a continuation of kind of residential patterns.
So you can build
That's
something
proposed.
Where are all those kids going to school?
We're going to school in a variety of schools.
In that area?
Well, actually, the areas that we've identified, in terms, if you take a look at the smart growth plan, that smart growth plan talks about having residential, having schools, having public open spaces, and
How long have you been working in Lakewood? There's no such animal. You can live in this spot, your kids can't go to that school. They have to go to school on another side of town, so that doesn't work.
Mr. Pullman, obviously, you don't agree with
Well, I'm asking, I think.
and the questions are fair ones, but you don't, and I'm trying to give you answers. But at some point, you're the policymaker, and you have to decide, you're a member of the planning board, and you have to vote your conscience and vote what you think is the most appropriate plan for the community. I am just presenting my perspective as a land use planning professional with 30 years of experience and over a decade of experience in the township. And frankly, if some of these plans and approaches had been implemented 5 or 10 years ago, we might be in a better spot than we are now. That's why I'm encouraging you, as a planning professional, I am encouraging you to take actions now that will prevent or at least mitigate or minimize the ongoing impacts you have with the township. Because I can tell you one thing, I can go outside, you can go outside, members of the public here can go outside right now, and they're experiencing those issues and concerns and problems right now. So you can walk away from them, you can decide that, you know what, I'll try to do no growth, whatever I can do, and that's fair enough. You can decide to do that, or you can look forward and you say, look, I understand that we have to do certain things, and we have to have a planning framework, and we have to have a framework that meshes up with the statutory
I just want
framework.
to know who asked you to make it so dense.
Nobody asked me.
There has to be something, you know, something.
No.
If something's in
I can
R20
tell-
or R40,
I can tell you, if you want, and as Mr. Truscott was very specific about this when he testified before, look at the 2013 Smart Growth Plan. And that Smart Growth Plan, by the way, as Mr. Truscott says, it didn't have its origin in 2013. It was reviewed and discussed in 2009. And Mr. Truscott and I were in front of thousands of Lakewood constituents in public meetings, in visioning sessions, and reviewing all sorts of issues as part of the visioning process that led to that Smart Growth Plan. So we're not talking about sort of an isolated discussion here of somebody just recommending this out of the top of their heads. This was vetted for the better part of a decade, reviewed, discussed, modified, tweaked, reviewed. I mean, are there places in that plan that I'm disappointed that weren't implemented a few years ago? Yes, I am. But the problem is that the change didn't occur in the plan and the ordinances. Now you have that opportunity to do that. Are you going to make traffic vanish tomorrow? No, you're not. Are you going to stop? Is your approach going to solve the problem? I will give you my professional opinion. No, it's not going to solve the problem. So you have to make a decision. You can disagree with my professional opinion, and you have the perspective as being a Lakewood citizen. There can be members here in the audience, I'm sure a substantial number of the members of the audience might disagree with my opinion. I am giving you a professional opinion that says that you need a balanced approach, you need an approach that is focused on those center developments in the Smart Growth Plan. You need to implement the vision that you as a community have crafted and worked, you as a community, not me, not Mr. Truscott, you as a community have worked to establish. The idea here is getting a plan in place, getting the ordinances in place that do that. And that's my recommendation to you.
Mr. Jackson, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say, this is what the board should do, deliberate, question the planner, exchange your ideas, determine whether you want to vote on the master plan. This is not, the time for public comment has passed. This is where the board is deliberating.
Mr. Garfield.
You had mentioned that the plan, some of it will not go into effect